So different, and with so many different people, different kind of storytelling, different kind of stories, beautiful diversity in the artist profiles and the directors and the approach to each production. So I can say the beauty of not being in the opera anymore, that usually is there's a standard kind of way to process. It is exactly, you can be totally creative. You really need to respond and tailor each production to what is the production itself and what's the need and what's the audience. So I guess we had fun. Yeah.
When you go to the theatre, you walk in, you sit down, the first thing of course you see is the set. Where would we be without set designers? And JUTE has been so incredibly lucky to attract two of the best who've been working with the company for a number of years now. So I thought, I've got to talk to the set designers to find out how that part of theatre works as we celebrate JUTE's 30th birthday. So joining me, we have Simone.
Hi. Hello.
And Simona.
Hi. Hello, Fiona.
You are from Italy?
Yes, we both are.
Correct.
Which part of Italy are you from?
Oh, well, we actually from two different parts. She's from south.
I am from Naples.
And I'm from north. So
Bologna.
I'm from Bologna.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in Italy, were you working in the theatre? Were you doing this kind of, set designing kind of work?
Yeah, well, we actually are from very specific kind of
Theatre, operatic theatre, yeah. We were studying together at the Fine Arts Academy, where we trained also at the Council Theatre, the Teatro Comunale di Bologna, where Simon started working very, very early age, very talented and skilled in his class, one of the best ones.
Well, thank you for
there
that.
You go.
And then where I trained a little bit later, because I've started my studies a little bit later in life. We were doing mainly theatre, operatic theatre. So, the big Puccini, the big names, the script and the music and the big scene changes, a year, 2 years processes. But also we were working within the Art Academy in joint projects with
at the same time.
other smaller regional theatres. And so I guess that we've been earning skills over a period of 7-9 years of paid, non-paid work, regional, national, and also independent. We had friends in a couple of other cities. They were running independent theatre companies, so for us it was also nurturing, and work within the skills of scenic design or props making or installation or site-specific kind of work, and then explore more the concept of scenography. I guess that has always been our bread, our thing, always.
So you had this thriving career in Italy, in the arts. You come to Australia.
Yeah.
And you stay. What drew you here? And what kept you here?
Well, definitely one of these strong points was because my mom was living here, probably. And during one of the first visits that I did,
in 2005, yes.
I just fell in love with this country, and I think that was like...
I remember because we were mates at the time. We've been mates friends, like hanging out. He was looking for something, I was looking for something else for a while. And then when he decided to travel, I was going to travel around South Asia, and said, I'll come and join you in Australia so that I got some company, we can travel. Beautiful, we visited the north. So let's say we are mainly Queenslanders. So we visit Queensland all over the place, spend a lot of time up in the Cape York Peninsula, love TI and the Torres Strait Islands. And then back to Italy, we then decided to come back in 2012 to celebrate a Christmas.
I think the strong point of Australia is you're gonna change your perspective.
It does.
If you live in Europe, most of the time you're living in a box.
Yeah.
And your vision is very,
old, in a way, dusty, heavy in a way.
Okay.
But also beautiful and nurturing. I can't deny a culture, can't deny that it's it's satisfying. It really fills you up a lot. But the change and the shift has happened probably when meeting some of the locals, some of the artists, and you know, what else we could learn about the place has been just through personal experience.
Yeah,
so walking on the land,
your
learning all about the culture, the indigenous culture, all of that has really kind of made up a big call. It was kind of a ding, 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 and felt a natural connection to the land and the space. So that was kind of, I wasn't expecting to like this place so much. It is actually calling me. So it felt very natural to then think of, let's go back.
And so how did you come to JUTE?
Well, that's an interesting story. I think my mom just
she actually
the receipt to Sewell
gave Sewell a CV that Simon prepared, because Simon had the intention to stay longer. I was still traveling around here. I wasn't sure.
I was looking for something similar to what I did
theater,
in
just give it a
Italy,
go.
and I wasn't expected to be a designer or something. And
He asked to volunteer.
I asked to be volunteer, you know, to see which was the way to do theater in Australia.
Yeah.
So, and maybe, you know, help with my point of view and
use some of your skills, exactly. Why not? And got super lucky because I guess a couple of days after, Kadia came back and said, yeah, I've dropped off your CV and apparently they want to have a chat with you. Come and talk with Sewell. And this all started.
It's been incredible because apparently Sewell was impressed
impressed about the CV and said, yeah, why not? We actually need a set designer. Okay, too easy. And at the time I was studying and working. I was doing, you know, little visual arts crafts at the markets. So living a completely different life. And when he came back and said, oh, you know, I told them about you and costume design and stuff.
Yeah, because I also said, you know, there's also my wife. She's a costume designer and she's a designer
at the time,
too.
friend,
And,
2 for 1.
Yeah, 2 for 1. It was awesome. My first
like
conversation
a great
was
opportunity
great.
Yeah.
It was great.
And then many productions later, you're
still
here.
Would have ever thought, exactly, and so different, and with so many different people, different kind of storytelling, different kind of stories, beautiful diversity in the artist profiles and the directors and the approach to each production. So I can say the beauty of not being in the opera anymore, there usually is there's a standard kind of way to process. It is exactly, you can be totally creative. You really need to respond and tailor each production to what is the production itself and what's the need and what's the audience. So I guess we had fun. Yeah.
So how does it work? You know, I guess what comes first? So do you sit down with, you know, read the play, work with the director, the actors, and then, you know, come up with an idea for the set and the costumes?
Well, definitely the script is the base of everything.
Yes. The big surprise in when...
Every concept that we can develop, it must be from the script, based on the script.
And it is that thing that also we sometimes collaborate or work together, never to bother each other. So each one of us does his own research, we read and analyze and get our own impressions of the play. It is about taking notes, having a first genuine conversation with the director and the producer, of course, because there are practical needs that then need to be achieved, or they are kind of our goals along the path, the timeline. And then from there, when the conversation starts, we understand what we like, what we don't like, how we want to work. Do we want to play with the cast in terms of movement? Do we want to just give it a specific rhythm? Do we want elements to move in the space? Who's the rest of the team? That is also very important information in terms of understanding what are the other elements of design that we can incorporate. And from there, I guess it's the most joyful time because we can chat and we can dream.
All this part is like what they call a creative development.
Also,
And fortunately for us, JUTE is very, you know...
It's
very good in that.
They try and
give you time to develop a very good concept and on time. So.
Well, has there been a play, you've got the script and you've read it and you've gone, oh boy, how are we going to pull this one off? How on earth are we going to design a set? Has there been a moment like that with any particular production?
Well, let me think.
Well,
The one in which we have been involved at the mostest was seriously the very first one, half and half. We were in the rehearsal room. I was trying to help out as a stage manager, failing miserably because of my knowledge of staging management somewhere else in other aspects where other people were more technical, and so they were overlooking other aspects of it. Simon then was into construction, scenic arting and painting. We had to recreate a garden evolving on stage and then dying and water and death. We were the ninja backstage. We were everywhere, and it was fantastic. Working also with two beautiful actors. I mean, they are my joy. Whenever I see them around, I'm so grateful. Jimi and Alan Fowles, also big men to dress up or do the quick costume changes with. But that was fantastic, honestly, very, very funny. What is yours? And then there are many more. But,
well, complicated in terms of
just very challenging.
Challenging in terms of finding an idea how to represent that. Probably, I don't know, because they are all challenges somehow.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't.
An easy one came. The ideas really flew very well in Assembled. Here we're all assembled.
That was very challenging in terms of
I guess also
design.
because of the team, we had very funny and a lot of fun in the room. There were a lot of ideas. We were trying to understand what are the elements that can really recreate this kind of dystopian world, with the challenge of having to set in or create like a very kind of enclosed space, how to deal with the language of a floating fish in the space.
Because there was something in the language of the script that was very difficult to represent in terms of visual.
Or dramatic, I mean, great work from Catherine did an amazing job.
Yes,
it was really needed to have the
That's
team together to really understand how then to proceed and what elements, and also find the balance between, you know, heavy costumes with the makeup, and we had a couple of characters that were really, really graphic, creating a set that could travel, because it was also meant to travel down south of Brisbane. And then finding the surfaces for the AV production that Craig created. Where do we insert the speakers that Guy Webster needs?
Also the atmosphere they're going to create, because in the language was that
and
atmosphere, and it was like...
Yeah, that was fun. And building this great, gigantic kind of stadium light for Jason Glenwright that had to kind of shoot and lead. That was awesome. And Sam Gibb, I remember he was everywhere doing everything. So it is substantially really a small team, but everybody has to be involved 100% into it. And
And for that specific show, I guess we had like 3 creative development, which it was like a lot.
Yes, we had time to develop it a lot.
In fact, that it changed a lot during the time.
Yes, it did change a lot as well.
Because the first version was completely different from that. Was changed.
And then what else? Do you want some more?
Always. But I guess, you know, it's sort of the first thing when the audience walk in, you want to transport them straight away, don't you, to whatever the set is, to they're there already.
With a big difference that we usually don't have a proscenium curtain, which usually we have in Italian theatre or in European theatre. So usually the audience has to wait for that time where the lights go down, something happens, the curtains open. Also the venue offers opportunity for or impact somehow on how we design, because it is exactly true. The audience walks in, the set is there, there's no chance we can hide it properly. So it is also that impact and understand how that develops in the space.
Yes.
So I guess in the last 8 years we have experimented all the proportion, all the sizes, all the different kind of movement possibilities, hiding object, hiding people. Let's move this, let's move that a little bit. Yeah.
Any mishaps? Any set mishaps, like during the show and something's not working?
Oh,
the way you
always.
explain- Okay.
Every show
That
has
happens
something
all
that
the
doesn't-
time.
Excellent.
We just try to cover that.
I guess in the enthusiasm, nobody really
Can you
comes and
tell us
asks
some
for
secrets
it.
on that score?
Well, I can tell you one from Tequila Cassowary. We had, I don't know if you've seen the play,
yes.
this kind of crazy shack in the middle of the forest, this little bathroom station area that is created by two flats that are hinged together, and then they need to be operated by an actor backstage. So during a cyclone scene, these two flats, wooden flats, have to fall down.
There was a kind of pulley system. On
That
the
was
back.
a pulley system
That's
at the back,
yeah.
which was activated. And I remember that I probably re-screwed after a rehearsal period that flat on the floor. It decided to fall, to move while an actor was close to it, and I had to rush on stage and kind of stop it. That's one of the scariest time. God
you
bless it,
almost
small.
killed. Oh, yeah.
Goodness.
Yes, that was scary.
But
But it's one of the technical things that can happen, and God bless, nobody was harmed.
yeah, no, we were
We're all
ready.
in,
No, we were
okay?
ready for.
We fixed
yes.
it. We fixed it. Or what else? Maybe clothing. Never happened that a zipper, and I should touch wood and whatever, that a zipper has broken on stage with me. Or never had that kind of mess up. Or,
Yeah, except for that one, really.
Not really. You've been spot on. You sure?
That's great.
But yeah.
So, would you say working with JUTE, as compared with your previous working lives in Italy in the opera and that more traditional kind of setting, has just given you freedom to
Yes,
be
a brand new, to me, honestly, a brand new vision and approach also to theatre and also to the work that I do. Yes, there is more freedom. Maybe there is lesser of that, how can I say, there's less referral or reference work that you have to research before. Like usually when you have to set up a bohème, there is an expectation that you know how it has been set it before, or you would go through conversation of, oh, but that director did this and that, we're going to go through this. So there is that expectation of knowing that. With JUTE, the difference is that there is that consistency, and that there is solid roots, of course, in understanding of theatre making, but there is also the freedom, and the challenge is, let's make it new, let's make it understandable. There is always the change of how we want, also there is always the questioning, which is a good thing. Let's question, how do we want to make this? How do we want the audience to get it? Do we want the audience to be more of a protagonist within this? It really depends. So yes, more freedom and also more risks, which is like, ooh, is this gonna be good or not? We never know until it's on stage. This is the process. So yeah, things can happen, but God bless, the team is always there.
Yeah, there's no limitation in terms of creativity with JUTE.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there are sets of designs that we want to explore there, but we can't tell you more.
Ooh, we'll look forward to that. Wonderful to speak with you. Thank you so much.
Many thanks to you, Fiona.
Can't wait to see your next set with the next show.
Yay, it's
Yeah.
going to be exciting.
me
Thank
either.
you.
Amazing set designers and costume designers Simone and Simona. I can't wait to see the set for the next show.